And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Red Devils for all your latest Manchester United news and a pretty big day ahead for United. First of all, the transfer window really heating up in terms of potential signings as well as departures because we're running out of time in terms of the end of the transfer window looming, and we need to make sure that we have got everything wrapped up by Monday. I think it's 11 p.m. is the deadline time these days. Gone are the days where it's sort of the midnight one, and so 11 o'clock on Monday is the transfer deadline. So we're less than a week away from the end of the transfer window. At the moment, we've got no official ins, no official outs. Although hopefully we should have our first signing wrapped up. Potentially even today. We could actually even have an announcement today. The big thing I think for me is the departures and the fact that at the moment nobody has gone out the door and we need to offload. Marcus Rashford, for example, the situation's become untenable. We've got to get him out. We can't be having him on his full wages, not playing any football for the next 6 months. It's not an option. It's not an option, in all honesty. And we've got to make sure that we find a solution to that sooner rather than later. So coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about the Rash situation. Apparently, him and Ruben Amrin not on talking terms. We're going to be talking about Patrick Dorgu and the fact that we are hopefully hours to either way, potentially from even an announcement. And a shock move for Matthias Tull from Bayern Munich, which would be an awesome move if we were managed to do it, even if it was just on loan. Although it does look sound like he wants to leave on a permanent. So lots to think about, lots to talk about with regards to that. Before I do, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, getting there slowly but surely. So if you are new to the channel, please make sure you join the community. And let me know what you would like to chat about in the comments as well. Let's get into a very interesting interview from Andre Onana. And always saying the right things, but I think this season more important than ever in terms of the whole idea of winning. So Andre Onana has given an interview to the club and speaking about the fact that the side has already got its sights on at Bilbao for May in the Europa League final, and basically saying that the big goal for the squad is to win the Europa League. It has to be, doesn't it? We have to be looking at the Europa League as our silver lining for the season to salvage the season. You win the Europa League, first of all, it's trophy, which means that it's a successful season. It's a European trophy as well. Maybe not the one we won, but it's a European trophy. And then it gives you Champions League qualification. You win the Europa League, for example, it doesn't matter actually really where you're going to finish in the league in terms of what's going to happen next season. Because next season, the start of the league, we go back to being complete fresh start, but we'll be in the Champions League. So what he basically said is, for me, we have to win the Europa League. For the guys, they all know it's a big opportunity for us to go directly into the Champions League. So we will give everything to win the Europa League. He said, if we fail, it's not good because it's something we definitely have to win, and we'll give everything to win. He's very right. We have to win it. We really have to look at that as our big opportunity in the season. That our big goal for the season needs to be lifting that Europa League trophy. It just solves such a big problematic season in terms of the confidence it'll give Ruben Amrin to go and win a European trophy, and more to the point, to win a trophy in charge United within 7-8 months of him joining. The confidence it'll give the squad to go and win in Europe and to get themselves back into the Champions League. The confidence it'll give the squad into Ruben Amrin in terms of being able to trust his system. He'll be vindicated by all the decisions he's made along the way if he goes in this trophy. It's the only way we can really salvage this kind of season. An FA Cup, obviously, that would be a massive one. And in many ways, some people would prefer to win the FA Cup than the Europa League. But that ticket into Champions League is so important. And it makes a big difference. Going into the summer, we need to have Champions League football. We need to become an attractive club again to play for. At the moment, if you're a top player, you don't want to come to United to play Europa League. If that, at this stage, you're not going to play Europe next season. So that might be a good thing in terms of having a fresh squad all the time, not having to worry about rotating as much, and being able to focus on the Premier League and maybe the FA Cup, for example. But you want to be playing in Europe. As big players, Champions League nights is what you aspire to. You need to be involved in the Champions League. And as a result, us not being involved in the Champions League makes us very far less attractive to join as a club. So the fact that the players are aiming for that is a really good thing. the question is, can we do it? Well, first things first, we've got to get through FCSB tomorrow night, kick off at 8 o'clock, and we'll have training coming up very shortly. I think that's about 12:15, so just over an hour, or 10 rather. We'll have that training over there. I think we should be having a Ruben Amrin press conference. We might shout at should be by 3:30. I haven't actually seen an official time yet for the press conference from Ruben Amrin, but unless it's I've seen the time. So the embargo section is coming out at 9 o'clock tonight, but I haven't seen a time for the official press conference just yet. But obviously we'll have that when it comes up. So in terms of the Europa League, what'll be interesting obviously is that what sort of team we put out. We do ideally need a result. It's not massively important to get the win, but we've got to try and get the result to try and ensure that we finish in the top 8. I mean, we're pretty set. I mean, a draw should probably be enough as well. A win guarantees us a spot in that top 8, but it also just means that we don't have to play an extra round, which, given the fact that we're struggling with injuries recently and we're struggling with keeping players fit sometimes, will be a really important thing not to have that extra round, and to all of a sudden you go into sort of the next round, and it's just round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. So from 5 rounds down to 4, for example, we can get through the next round, win your round of 16 clash, and you're then sitting 3 ties away from potentially winning the Europa League itself. And in terms of the clubs that are involved, there are some quality sides, but there's no sides there that a United side, at its best, should not be able to beat. And obviously from a United point of view, you always look at the Spanish sides, because that has always been our big nemesis, especially in the Europa League. So your Atletico Bilbao, I mean, for example, the fact that it's in Bilbao means that they'll be really, really strong. And at the moment, they have been one of the strongest sides in the competition. But other sides, for example, look out for Eintracht Frankfurt. That they are a decent side. Lazio have been fantastic in the Europa League. They are the only side besides us and Galatasaray to have not lost a game, but they've won 6 out of 7, whereas we have only won 4 out of 7 with our 3 draws. You've got the likes of Lyon, Tottenham in there. Galatasaray, they're going a bit of a run. So there's good sides in the Europa, but sides that we can beat. And this is the big thing. I think a lot of people are talking about the fact that it's a winnable competition. Even with our squad not maybe performing at its highest levels, but I do think that we could become a bit of a cup team. I was actually watching the podcast or the overlap yesterday with Dennis Irwin, and he was talking about the fact that when he first joined United, they were kind of seen as a cup team in terms of them having a good side that could beat anybody on their day, but not having that consistency, not having the players to be able to consistently go on a run. And this is why I think that the FA Cup and Europa League offer us opportunities, because I think we can become a bit of a cup team at the moment, because you don't have to. We don't have the capacity right now to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. We don't. We've seen that in the league. We go and beat Southampton, and then we'll draw or we'll lose, and then we'll go and beat Liverpool. Beat Arsenal on penalties, and we'll draw to Liverpool. So we've got a good result in us, but it's the consistency where we are continuously falling down. Now, right now, if we want to win a trophy, we don't necessarily need consistency. We just need to be able to get up each time for these big games. And we've seemed to have been able to do that. So one thing I think we've been able to do since Ruben Amrin's come in is we've managed to rise up for the big games. Beating City, drawing to Liverpool, drawing to Arsenal, beating them on penalties. We've not lost to a traditional top 6 side since that Spurs defeat in the Carabao Cup. And the Arsenal won that right at the beginning. So, and even that Spurs game, a bit of a rotated side. We probably should have won it, actually. We were just awful, a couple of individual mistakes. But we've been really good against the traditional top 6 sides. And it shows you that when the chips are down and there's a big occasion, we can, and Ruben Amrin obviously can get the team up to perform in that specific moment, in that specific match, in that specific environment. So that bodes well for the Europa League. So, get past FCSB, who have also only lost 1 game. In the Europa League. They're currently 14 points behind. It's 2 points behind us. So a draw for us will put us at 16 points. Now, at the moment, Galatasaray, Bodo Glimt are also on 13 points. So wins for them would put them on 16 points. Goal difference-wise, we're looking reasonably okay with 5. but we've got 3. Latest I've got 4. So you think that a draw should probably be enough, and we kind of have been a bit sort of draw chester during the Europa League itself, but a win, fantastic. A win puts us on 18 points. That'll take us to probably in the top 4 even, and that puts us straight into that round of 16. And we don't have to worry about going into the playoffs where you can face a team like it's not even just sort of who you're playing, but you have to then go to potentially Fenerbahce, Besiktas, and Alkmaar, Olympiacos, and having to go on sort of these sort of trips. Victoria Pleasant, for example, they're there. You don't really want to go on an additional away European trip. Get yourself into the next round and give ourselves a bit of a break. So that's why it's all important tomorrow that we get the result. And we still haven't had really too much squad news in terms of what's happening with Ugarte. There's a photo of him coming back quite late with an interesting gesture. So I quite enjoyed that, actually. But no team news just as of yet in terms of injuries and the likes. So we'll have to wait and see for that. In terms of our transfer news, today could be a big day. I think today we could potentially get an announcement of Patrick Dorgu, which is heating up a lot. The fee is kind of being hotly contested. Some people saying it's about £34 million. Some people saying it's probably less than that, more with sort of the add-ons. 40 million euros was the price tag that Leke wanted, and we have to keep sort of coming back because I think it's our 3rd approach officially. So apparently, sort of everything's agreed. Fabrizio Romano even gave it the here we go yesterday. So today could be the day we get the official announcement for him. Hopefully, maybe he could even be involved this weekend, if not next week. And it's a good time to come and kind of get into, because I think we've got, for me, that Leicester game would be the perfect opportunity for him to debut. We've got FCBSB tomorrow, we've got Crystal Palace on Sunday, and then we've got Leicester next week, Friday. So that for me would offer a big opportunity. And then after that Leicester game, we've then got I think it's like a 9-day break because we then play Spurs on a Sunday. So this is why time for signing is now. So Patrick Dorgu comes in today or gets announced today, comes to his medical tomorrow, trains with the team on Friday, probably maybe sits out on Sunday, maybe he's involved in the matchday squad. He gets a bit of minutes off the bench if we can get a couple of goals up. But then he's got a full week of training next week, and I think he could potentially then be involved for that Leicester game. Then Spurs, but then you've got Everton and Ipswich, 2 teams as well, where you can give them minutes and get it set up. So when we get to that really difficult period where we've got we've got Arsenal and just for the international break, and then after the international break comes back, we've got Forest, City, Newcastle in a row. So that's going to be an incredibly difficult period. But if you can get through that period, the rest of our season is actually pretty straightforward. There's Chelsea on the 18th of May, and we finish the season at home against Villa. But again, I'm not really worried about the Premier League, to be honest. Right now, we know that we're just not going to be able to really climb up that table. So in many ways, it kind of makes more sense. And even with Patrick Dorgu, start him on Sunday. Maybe get him going so that he's then available and ready to play for Leicester in the Cup tie, which is the more important game for us, given where we are as a club and the fact that the Premier League table is just an absolute disaster and we're not really going to rise up it. What is very interesting, though, is that there's apparently a bit of a shock move being lined up for Matthias Tell, the 19-year-old forward who went to Bayern Munich from Stade Rennais for 20 million euros. Hasn't quite had the season this season that he would have liked. Had a very good season for Bayern Munich last season, where I think he prepared over 40 times and scored 10 goals and 6 assists. Had a very good season last season. Played predominantly off the left, as well as right, as well as up front. So he can play in the front 3, which is obviously very important. And he is looking to leave before January, and United apparently considering a sort of a late move for him. This would be a brilliant signing. It really would be, in terms of the age profile. 19 years old, and can play around the front 3. And I think that it sounds like I think he's basically fallen out with Vincent Kompany, and obviously there's a very long list of forwards ahead of him. So obviously Harry Kane, Leo Sade, Kingsley Coman, Michael Olise. There's lots of players who are, at the moment he's struggling to find game time. So he fits the profile perfectly. He's 19 years old, so he's a young striker. He's can play in multiple different positions, so he's versatile, which is very important. and he knows how to score goals. So in terms of United building a squad for the future, he really does fit the bill. What would be interesting is the kind of price tag you'd be looking for him. Now, as mentioned, he went for 20 million euros to Bayern Munich. They'd probably be looking to try and make a little bit of a profit if they were to look to sell him. And I mean, I wouldn't mind paying 20 million euros for him, or 25 million euros for him, even 30 million euros to him to a certain degree. It's a move that makes so much sense, which is probably why I wouldn't do it. And or maybe might not be able to do it, because I mean, game time, I think we can offer him game time. I think that he comes in and he could start, ahead of Hoyland, for example. I think if Xerxes wants to leave, we could look at potentially that. So I think that he will get game time at United. Obviously, he will want a team that's right at the top. I mean, he's going to Bayern Munich. He wants a team that's going to compete for titles, which maybe we're not. But if you could try and convince him to come in to the inverted commas the project and try and be involved, I think it'd be a great signing. I really do think it'd be a great signing. And it would be such a nice move to be able to just like that go and bring it forward before the end of January on hopefully a small transfer fee. And then in the summer, you can then even bring in Gyökeres if you really want to and if you need to, and see and look at your different sort of striking options. So we'll wait and see on that, but it's an interesting one. So a bit of a late move potentially coming for that. And at the moment, no word on Garnacho. I don't think Garnacho leaves in this January transfer window. The talks with Napoli seem to have really sort of quietened down. There doesn't seem to be much coming from Chelsea with the transfer window closing on Monday. Also, I think the big thing for him is that he's suddenly starting and he's playing well again. He looked very good over the weekend and didn't score a goal, but looked like our best attacking threat in all honesty. So it looks like he's starting to adapt to Ruben Amorim's system. Amorim basically is not saying that he's definitely going to leave, but right now he's a United player. My gut says he doesn't leave in January. I think that if he does leave, he'll leave in the summer. I think at the moment where we are in the transfer window, I just don't think we're going to be able to get sort of Phoebe 1 from him. So then I think he stays. But somebody who has to leave is Marcus Rashford. So it sounds like he's been a complete breakdown in the relationship between Ruben Amorim and Marcus Rashford, to the point where Rashford's no longer speaking to Amorim. So it sounds like the two aren't on speaking terms, which means we need to get him out. We cannot have Marcus Rashford training with the under-21s or, not training at all and eating up an incredibly large part of our wage bill for the next 6 months whilst not playing. We've got to offload him, got to get him to hopefully Barcelona, who seem to be the ones really keen. And I think it'll be a really good move for him. I think he would really suit Barcelona. I think he would enjoy his time in the city. I think he'd enjoy his time away from the UK. So get him out on loan. Let's hope he has a good time, and then we can sell him in the summer. But at the moment, we cannot have somebody like him on those wages, just not playing, not part of the team, and not contributing at all. So let me know what you think about it, whether you where we sell him, what we do with him. Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching.